This app, listed as free on the App Store, actually costs kids, or more accurately their parents, all the way up to $250. And some parents have found out the hard way. How is this even allowed to happen? Well, let me explain. When Outfit 7 released Talking Tom and Friends World in August 2025, they described it as a new ad-free game that empowers kids to express themselves through imaginative storytelling and endless adventures. Outfit 7's answer to Toca Life World, and rated PEGI 3, meaning it's considered suitable for children as young as 3. So the target audience here is kids who are barely old enough to hold the tablet. The reviews came in fast and they weren't pretty. One fan said, "First of all, mainly everything is locked and you can't use the hospital, the train station, just 2 houses and a bakery. You can use the things you can't use, but they cost money. How stupid is that? All you are is a gold digger." Outfit 7's response to being called a gold digger? Well, read it for yourself. "We are sorry to hear about your experience, but grateful to you for sharing it with us. We offer a lot of content that is completely free. Some of the places mentioned in your review are indeed only available as an in-app purchase, but they are not mandatory to enjoy the game." Not mandatory to enjoy the game? Well, fans don't agree. The characters are very cute, but why do you have to buy everything? What if some people don't have money and are looking for a cute game? Such a simple question, and yet nobody at Outfit 7 seems to have an answer for it. Another reviewer went further. "Almost everything is locked behind a paywall. They might as well make the game paid for. Don't download unless you want to pay $4.99 for one map." Seems like someone in the reviews has accidentally written the thesis of this entire video. Now, here's what's interesting. Nobody seems to actually have a problem with the game itself. The game is apparently good, and yes, people are giving this app 5 stars and still complaining about the same thing. As this 5-star review says, "This game is the best game you ever made, but everything is locked, so this is the worst thing in this game. But it is still good, so everyone make something like this." So, sounds like the game would be 5 stars if you didn't have to pay so much money. Another 5-star reviewer, who's been a fan for years, writes, "I've already spent like $10 on the game, and that'll probably get you like 3 buildings. I think it would be better if $10 could get you 5 buildings. $10 for 3 buildings in a supposedly free app." So, the game itself seems to work, and the kids indeed seem to love it. The problem is what surrounds it. The review that really got to me was this one. The review states, "I'm sorry to sound this way, but I was so excited to get this game until I opened and found out about the expenses. I love the game's theme and all, but the fact that we can't really enjoy anything without paying pisses me off. Free users should at least have something to do in the game, like an update or something." That's someone who really wanted to love this game, apologizing before they even started to criticize it. And Outfit 7 responded, "Hey there, thanks for the feedback. We're always cooking up new free surprises for you to enjoy. Stay tuned, it's gonna be fun. Free surprises coming soon." This was back in October 2025. It's almost a year later, so we'll come back to whether they actually delivered on that. Yes, I wonder if Outfit 7's promise for free stuff in the Talking Tom game actually came true. But first, I downloaded this app myself, and what I found genuinely shocked me. Firstly though, about 85% of you watching this right now aren't subscribed. So if you want to see more investigations into apps that are ripping people off, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the button, do it for my rather crazy cat. Anyway, yes, I indeed downloaded Talking Tom and Friends World. And the very first thing you see when you open it is a pop-up trying to sell you a mega bundle. 24 locations in a box. £109.76 crossed out, £3.49 massive green buy button. So, you haven't pressed play yet, you haven't even made a character, and yet the app's first interaction with the child is a shop till. And that crossed out £109.76 is Outfit 7 accidentally revealing what the game costs. That's 24 locations bought individually. There's far more beyond just that. Get past that pop-up though, and you're on the map. Yay! And I'll give them this. The map looks gorgeous. Colourful buildings, a beach with palm trees, snowy mountains with a ski lift, a Halloween village, a city centre, a farm, a football stadium. It looks like a massive world you'd want to explore. And then you start tapping on things and things start to go badly wrong. Red padlock on the beach house. Red padlock on the ski lift. Red padlock on the restaurant. Red padlock on the Christmas cabin. The free locations, marked with a big glowing free gift box tag, because free is someone unusual in this app, it needs its own announcement. There are about 8 or 9 across the whole map. Everything else is locked. And the shopping cart icon sits in the top right corner at all times, following you around wherever you scroll. So I opened the in-app store and started scrolling. And scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I took 11 screenshots of it, and there were still items cut off at the edges. Individual locations range from $2.99 for Angela's hair salon all the way up to $19.99 for a virtual dentist called Happy Teeth. Most of the main locations sit around the 9 or 10 quid mark. Then there are outfit packs for a couple of quid each, seasonal bundles at $14.99 a pop, character bundles at $12.99 or $13.49. It very much seemed to me like the store was bigger than the game itself. One reviewer this June put a number on it. Most of the game is behind a paywall, and it's $250 to unlock everything. Very expensive for a game. $250 for an app listed in the App Store as free. And you can't even watch ads to unlock stuff. A lot of freemium games at least give you that option. Sit through an ad, earn a temporary unlock. This app though just wants real money. They'll show you ads regardless, despite calling the app ad-free, but watching them doesn't get you anything. The ads are there for Outfit 7's benefit, not yours. And look, at this point, it's worth asking the obvious question. Is Outfit 7 actually doing anything wrong here? They're a business, and businesses make money. Charging for content in an app is indeed normal. So, if they'd listed Talking Tom and Friends World at £19.99 with everything unlocked, that would be a fair deal and I wouldn't be making this very video. But this is where that Peggy 3 rating comes back in. A 3-year-old probably can't even read the word purchase, let alone do the maths on £2.99 versus £250. They see a colourful box with a bow on it and have no idea it's actually a shop. After all, charging money is fine. If you stick $250 on the App Store listing, the game dies on day 1. Listed as free, however, and you get 13 million downloads. Straight past whoever controls the device, onto the screen of a child who has no idea what in-app purchases even means. And yes, I know, a 3-year-old doesn't have a bank card themselves. But the design itself doesn't actually need the child to spend. It needs the child to want. That's why the shop button is on every screen, and the locked buildings are the prettiest ones on the map. The industry even has a name for this, Pester Power. The app's actual product is a small child tugging at someone's sleeve, and Outfit 7 has engineered that child to perfection. And parents have paid the price for that, sometimes without even knowing until the bill turned up. The users themselves are not dumb, and they've actually worked out the obvious fix. They've been asking Outfit 7 for a single unlock everything button at a sensible price for over a year. Outfit 7 just copy-pastes the same response and changes nothing, because a single honest number is the one thing this type of pricing model can't survive. And if you think the 1-star reviews are the damning ones, you'd actually be wrong. The 2-star reviews are way worse, because these are people that actually want to like the game, but just can't. I really wish you would add more free places and also more customization items, because the paid places are very cool and so are the paid customization items. I would like it if you could add more stuff to it. Then it would be fun for everyone. I think this game wouldn't be very fun at all without lots of new free places. I also don't have any money in my account. If I had, I would spend it on everything in this game. Overall, it is not the best at all, but not the worst either, so 2 stars it is. Did you hear that? Outfit's ever built something that this person genuinely loves, and yet again, they can't give it more than 2 stars. And finally, this one. I deleted this game because almost everything costs money. Most kids are deleting this game too. You can still create your own character and visit places, but in almost every building, it is not fun because all the fun stuff costs money. That is the reason I deleted this game. Smash that like button if you've ever downloaded a free app, only to find out within, 30 seconds that it was anything but. Then you uninstall the frick out of it and never think about it again. I got one more thing about this app before we move on. It didn't even come up with its own idea. One reviewer called it a shameless ripoff of Toca Boca World. Everything has been ripped off. Outfit 7's response: "We are sorry to hear about your experience, but grateful to you for sharing it with us." Another said, "It feels like a knockoff of the franchise, not a thing that Outfit 7 made." A fan of Talking Tom looked at an official Talking Tom game and concluded it feels like a bootleg of itself. Which raises the question this very video hinges on. What the hell happened to this franchise? Because it didn't start like this. It actually started as one of the most charming becoming success stories in mobile gaming altogether. In 2009, a Slovenian couple called Samo and Iza Login put together about $250,000, rented an office in Ljubljana with 6 of their mates, and started making apps. After a few that went nowhere, Samo went online and bought a 3D cat model of Turbo Squid for $90. That model became Talking Tom, the app where you poke a cartoon cat and it repeats what you say in a funny voice. It launched in June 2020, it cost 99p to remove the ads, and within months it was one of the biggest apps in the world. 26 billion downloads across the franchise by the time it peaked. And the franchise grew into something with genuine depth. There was an animated series, Talking Tom and Friends, that ran for 5 seasons and over 150 episodes, voiced by Colin Hanks as Tom and Tom Kenny from SpongeBob as Hank. It aired on Netflix, Cartoon Network and YouTube, won Best Animated Series at the Cable Facts Awards, and had proper storylines, recurring villains, character arcs, the lot. As Chupo put in their video, The Bizarre Lore of Talking Tom and Friends,
I initially thought when coming into this series, it was gonna be whatever, not really something memorable, just like some 5 out of 10 Nickelodeon cartoon that would play during school hours on weekdays, but no, there was something here, and it was better than I anticipated.
People cared about this franchise. It had a fan base that ran deep. Then, in January 2017, the Login sold the whole thing for $1 billion to a consortium, who in turn flipped it to a Chinese company called Zhejiang Jinkei. Zhejiang Jinkei's previous business, and I wish I was making this up, genuinely, was manufacturing hydrogen peroxide because of course it was. Bloomberg ran the headline, "Why did a Chinese peroxide company pay $1 billion for a talking cat?" Which is a reasonable question. Once Talking Tom had been bought by that Chinese company, the founders left and everything changed. As the first gamer put in their video, how Outfit 7 ruins Talking Tom.
This sale fundamentally changed the way Outfit 7 operated. After the sale, we saw a lot more spin-off games based off of Talking Tom being made, and they were usually 2D games that were based off of one simple mechanic and didn't really have much substance to them. Basically just trying to make as much money off of the Talking Friends franchise as possible.
Chopu was blunter about where the whole thing ended up.
The rest of the franchise is kinda gross, to be honest. It's definitely gone down the path of appealing to your local daycare of kids who watch Spider-Man Grimace Shake videos.
Then, in 2025, at the request of absolutely nobody, they decided to redesign every character. Tom, Angela, Ben, all smoothed out into this rounded corporate look, in the words of the first gamer.
This empty corporate shell of themselves. They've lost all the unique aspects of themselves that made them them.
The comments under that video told the whole story. 2010, the original. 2016, the remake. 2025, the re-break. They gave Talking Tom the Chuck E. Cheese treatment. Dude, why is everything becoming smooth and extremely hyper kid friendly? 2010 to 2016 Tom and Friends is peak. And behind all of this, the money was drying up. In the word of Outfit 7's own CEO in 2025, advertising revenues are increasingly volatile. The ad model that had been printing money for years had started falling apart, and that new revenue stream was Talking Tom and Friends World, an ad-free kids game funded by in-app purchases instead. So the reason that World even exists at all is because the old money dried up. It's basically a survival plan. 15 years of squeezing the franchise, the ad revenue finally collapsing, and this is what comes out the other end. A Toca Boca clone where a virtual dentist costs 19 quid, aimed at 3-year-olds, because 3-year-olds are the last customers this company even has left. Remember Outfit 7's promise from 2025? We're always cooking up new free surprises for you to enjoy. Stay tuned, it's gonna be fun. Well, did they ever get around to this? The answer will surprise you. Not. Between October 2025 and mid-2026, they added dinosaurs, weddings, a police station, a style studio, Barn Buddies, baby arrivals, and a brain rot map with Skibidi toilets and Bombardero Crocodilo in it. Almost all of it paid. Yes, they just expanded the shop. And the 2026 reviews, identical to the ones before. This is so expensive. Nothing is open here. You have to buy everything. There's nothing like playing games. Everything costs money to get something. It's a complete waste. January 2026, 5 months after launch, same complaint as day one. Another said, "I have to pay for everything in this game. It's so expensive. It's very nice, but I need to have lots of money to play." Outfit 7's response, "We'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can make it better. What would you like to see added or changed? We're all ears." Bruh, they just told you. Outfit 7's customer support team, gimme a damn break. Oh yeah, there's one review that's so stupid, especially combined with Alpha 7's response, it has to be seen to be believed. Enjoy! I like this game because it's fun. 1 star. Outfit 7's response: thanks for the amazing words and have fun with the game. They literally thank someone for a 1-star review. They don't care what the fans think. They ain't even reading any of it. And if you think World is bad, have a look at what they've done to the original. My Talking Tom, the app that started this whole thing, 1 billion downloads, has been gutted. It sits on the Google Play Store with a fairly respectable 4.2 stars from 17.4 million reviews. And yet, the ads being served on this app have been a problem now for over a decade. Back in 2015, the UK Advertising Standards Authority ruled twice on ads inside My Talking Tom. One of the ads, served to a child as young as 3, was for an adult website and was so highly inappropriate I can't even describe it on YouTube. The ASA ruled the ads had been irresponsibly placed and that the app would be of particular appeal to children. Outfit 7 said they strove to be family friendly but admitted it was impossible to eliminate the risk altogether. That was 2015, it's now, of course, 2026. And the problem still hasn't been fixed. One reviewer said in June 2026. Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. You know how you get ads on apps, right? And on some apps, you'll see some questionable ads that are sus because they low-key come across as inappropriate. Well, I'd never have thought that this app would have had those kind of ads. Some of these ads are ones like you put a picture of you and your crush or a celebrity to show you both kissing. Another reviewer added, contains a lot of ads, but most importantly, it contains inappropriate ads which should not have been seen in children apps, like a dating app. Please rectify it. And furthermore, the app lets kids spend real money without anybody even knowing about it. Least of all, the parents. One person wrote on a consumer complaint site, I let my 4-year-old cousin use my phone to play games, and when I got it back, I discovered that my Talking Tom had made unauthorized charges. I never gave my consent or approval for these purchases. It is outrageous that a child can trigger payments this easily. To make matters worse, I was charged twice, and since no bank card was even saved on the device, the amounts were added directly to my mobile bill. This shows a complete lack of security and parental controls. It is unacceptable for a game targeted at children to allow money to be spent with a single tap, without password protection or confirmation. And somebody else had almost the exact same complaint. They describe a 4-year-old triggering a charge through an in-game prompt, even with security settings enabled and no bank card saved on the device. The charge still went through. So that's where the franchise is at nowadays. Highly inappropriate ads in the original app, toddlers spending money without anyone's consent, and the new game, World, selling a virtual dentist for 19 frickin' quid. And here's the part that actually made me want to make this video, because it turns out that Outfit 7 already know how to do this differently, because they already have. Outfit 7 has built 7 Talking Tom games for Apple Arcade. My Talking Tom Plus, My Talking Tom 2 Plus, My Talking Tom 3 Plus, My Talking Angela 2 Plus, My Talking Tom Friends Plus, My Talking Tom Friends 2 Plus, and Talking Tom Blast Park. The most recent one even came out last month. And here's the wild thing, every one of them is completely clean. No in-app purchases, no locked content, no padlocks, no subscription traps. You pay £7 a month for Apple Arcade and you get the whole game from the start. You see, £7 for a free Talking Tom game is a much fairer deal than anything you get through the app. You know the price, you know what you get. Outfit 7 can do this. After all, they've done it 7 times. Their own CEO said, we're excited to expand the Talking Tom and Friends universe onto Apple Arcade. So they know how to make these games without squeezing anyone. They just choose to keep the honest version on a premium platform that most of their audiences will never even see. And yet, not a single child safety organization has even reviewed Talking Tom and Friends World. I checked, and the entire internet about this app is just a ghost town. Literally, nobody's talking about this damn app. Not Common Sense Media, not Fair Play, not the Norwegian Consumer Council, not Mozilla, not the NSPCC. Nobody. This app has had 13 million downloads. It's categorized as education, and yet it's had 0 institutional oversight. Bizarrely, Common Sense Media has reviewed other Talking Tom apps and even described Talking Tom Hero as spending almost as much time pushing ads on kids as it does offering any real gameplay. So they clearly know the franchise, they just haven't been bothered to actually look at this app. Seriously though, it is rather sad when you think about Talking Tom's humble origins. Because Talking Tom started as a $90 cat model that made people smile for 99p. 15 years and $1 billion sale to a chemical company later, that same cat is fronting a shopping centre where most of the shops have their shutters down and the customer hasn't even started school yet. Talking Tom's a predator. It's as simple as that. Thank you so much for watching my video. Smash that like button if you made it to the end, you Snipe Army legend. And if there's an app or platform you think I should look at next, please let me know in that comment section below. I do check them out from time to time. It's so helpful to hear what you guys think. Till the next time, Snipe, Snap, out.